Hello everyone, hope you guys are having a great day. So, for today's video, we are going to go over my games that I play in a recent tournament, and I'm very glad that I learned something from every game that I play, which means that I will be able to cover all of them. So, before we jumped in, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you like me go over my games, and let's get started. So, in this game, I am playing my good friend Jackson Hall, and he has improved immensely over the past 2 years, and he knows everything that I play because we play a lot together. I also taught him some openings to play against d4, which is my main weapon, so therefore, it is going to be a very hard grind to get an advantage out of the opening, but we'll see. So, I start with d4, plays d5, c4, and c6, and we get the Slav defense. Knight f3, knight f6, and queen to c2. And this is a move that I've been playing a lot recently against the Slav, and it's pretty effective. So d takes c4, very nice. One of the best move against queen c2, basically. Queen takes c4, and bishop f5. And for this game, I gave a try to the Catalan against the Slav to see what happens. I have never played a Catalan against a Slav when I first studied it because that's the conclusion that I had. But for this game, I wanted to throw Jackson off a little bit and play the Catalan and see what happens. Uh, there was a game that I played a few months ago over the board classical that I played e3, which after e6 and bishop d3, and takes 6, knight bd7, and the game goes on. And this was the position. It's still equal, but I guess I should be happier in this case, right? After at least after I play this game. So after g3, e6, bishop g2, and I guess if you really look at this, right? Black has somewhat of a London structure, and whereas white has the Catalan structure. And this bishop actually doesn't do that much because it's staring at this pawn chain and it doesn't really pressure d5. Because once black is able to put a knight on d5, then everything is over. And most importantly, this bishop is out of the pawn chain, which means that it can do a lot of things. Whereas if it stays here, well, it's a lot more passive. But we'll see what happens. Knight bd7 and queen b3. Attacking b7, so he defends with queen b6. Knight bd2, just protecting the queen on b3 because I wasn't sure if I wanted to take with the a pawn. So I most likely would take with the knight if he trades. So bishop b4, trying to just trade off this knight mostly in castles, and he took, and I took, and he castles. And here, if he did the queen trade, I wasn't sure if this was actually good for white. And by engine, it says that it's actually fine. It's fine for white, and white's still quite a bit better after this because I guess the a file is compensated, and white can always play b4 without any issue. Sorry, because the bishop is protecting the dark squares, and black doesn't have a dark square bishop. So castles, I traded the queens, which is fine, but I didn't really have to. I wasn't really sure what else to do, so I was like, okay, let's just trade queens and play the end game. Knight to e5, rook f8, and here I play knight c4, trying to get some maneuver because I want this bishop to be a little bit more active. So I move the knight out of the way, and here I play knight e4, and I play bishop f4, which is natural, but it doesn't actually punish the mistake that knight e4 has. So the thing with knight e4 is that it allows this, which is bishop to b4. And strategically, in my engine, this is pretty good. Now, I at first when I was playing I didn't understand the difference between bishop b4 and bishop f4. But the thing with bishop on b4 is that it's actually better off controlling this diagonal rather than this diagonal, because first of all, there's no a pawn, right? So nothing can really kick this bishop, and the bishop also has a3 to go back to if necessary. Second, the bishop on f4, the problem is that there's always going to be h6 and g5 attacking and kicking the bishop around, and there's a lot of things that I have to calculate if the bishop is on f4. So the bishop on b4 is actually fine. Now there are actually 3 candidate moves, which in the game I wasn't able to calculate everything, so I didn't. That's why I didn't go for it. But c5 is one, and here after takes and takes, I wasn't sure if I was better, but turns out I'm actually close to winning here. Because after bishop a5 and rook db8, boom. And what happens, and the difference here is that this bishop is also active, which is very important. I didn't realize that when I was looking at this. So actually, I guess c5 isn't actually a good move. That good of a move. The other 2 moves is b5, which runs to knight a5. I mean, I don't think he will play that ever. And rook to a4. And this is a move I was concerned the most. I wasn't sure what to do about it. And of course, I'm gonna go a3 here because there's no other way I can really protect these two. And c5 takes 6, and apparently I can just play b3 here. And after rook a6 and bishop to e1, white is actually still better in this position. So yeah. So after bishop to f4, which is just completely equal, plays b5, knight e3, which is my plan, trying to go for the sort of a maneuver. Bishop g6, and rook f to d1. And from here, I gotta say it's pretty much equal for the rest of the game, because there's actually not a lot going on, and a lot of moves that black play can be pretty much equal, and I can never gain an immediate advantage anywhere. So like df6, bishop e5, and we traded the knights, so I still have the bishop pair for the moment. h4, he kicks the bishop. I went bishop c7, just being annoying. And if he went rook to e8, actually there's the f3, which traps the knight, so he's forced to go rook d7, bishop f4, and after knight d6, here I should have played b3. I didn't play it because I didn't like bishop to c2, which turns out that this actually keeps the game going. So either rook c1 or rook to e1. Let's say rook to c1. Oh, not bishop g6. Sorry. Bishop to f5. At least the game is still going because I stopped knight c4 and I still have the bishop pair. But I just traded the bishop, which now is completely equal. And I was getting frustrated here because I didn't want to draw this game at all, because I was 300. I'm 300 points higher than Jackson. So if I draw, I would lose quite a bit of points still. So I keep the game going and I try to make something happen. So rook e8, rook d2, and now here black is now the one that kind of initiates the the advantage. Now here I play bishop f3. I didn't play e3 here because if I do, I pretty much just just telling him like, okay, it's a draw. I agreed to a draw, which I didn't want it. So I played bishop f3, trying to keep something happen, and we played bishop e4. And here is where I start like trying to do kind of bad moves, to be honest. And those moves are like pretty bad. King f1, f5, and here black is already slightly better because of activity. So I play a4, just a desperate try. I just want to try something, which actually turns out to put my position in a very bad spot. It's still a draw, but now, I don't know what. It's pretty hard for me to play. This is now slightly better for black because if you look, black's rook are connected and very powerful, whereas my rook on d2 is just kind of terrible. So rook to e1, king g2, and rook to c1. And here, there's not that much I can do. If he wanted to kill the draw, he could have just gone rook ae2, and it's not that much I can do. Right? After rook takes and rook b4 and b5, well, it's not really that much I can do anyways. And actually here, black is slightly better. And it's white that is going to struggle for the draw. But he didn't play it. So he played rook c1, trying to go for some sort of mate threat here. And I play f4 here, partly to give my king an escape square, but also to prevent this idea, which he could have done in the last move. But it doesn't really change that much. It just forced me to calculate to see things a bit more. So f4, rook c4, and this move is a little weird because he should have just played b5, which I don't know why he didn't do it. After b5 and rook a7 and rook e1 here, there's nothing for me to do because the backward c pawn is protected, right? So there's no way for me to attack. My rook is passive because it has to defend it has to defend everything, and it cannot move. It can't move out of the second rank because, well, then these rooks are just gonna infiltrate all my pawns. So yeah. But he played rook c4 here, which I was like, a little bit weird. And there was a line here that I calculated that made it work, and this is the only reason that why this is completely equal for white. So rook takes c4 and d5. Now here, if he takes on d5, which most likely what's gonna happen because c5 is a drawing move, but after d6, I don't know. It's pretty unclear if I'm being honest, right? Because rook d8, rook d5, and the game actually goes on. And given that both of us are just 2000s and 1700s, anything could happen. And I think that actually in this position, I might be able to swindle, so for a win. But here, after d5, Jackson played a terrible blunder. And it's really unfortunate because it looks like it works in the surface, but it actually doesn't. He plays rook d8, and this move lose the game on the spot. He thought that he guaranteed himself a draw, which, yeah, sure, he did. And he was playing really well. So this move he played immediately. He played it within 30 seconds, which cost him the game now because there's a very nice move of d takes c6, sacking the rook, and he cannot take the rook because that's what happened in the game, because if he takes the rook, c7, and he cannot stop the pawn from promoting because there's a blockade here, which is very nice. So unfortunately, that didn't work out for him, and he is forced to play rook c8. And I mean, it doesn't really change anything because at this point, I get another pawn, and I have a pawn in the 7th rank, and this game is pretty much over. So rook b8, rook d7, h6, h5. I play basically Russian schoolboy style, not allowing any sort of counterplay whatsoever. King h8, rook c7, king h7, king f3, and here he resigned because I just put him in zugzwang. He cannot move basically anything. He moved it. Well, he moved this pawn. He loses a pawn. He cannot move this pawn. Can't move these pawns. He moves the king back. I go rook c8. He moved the rook. I just go rook c8, and I promote. So yeah. I got the win there barely, but I wasn't really happy about it because I think that I really didn't deserve the win there. My opponent played really well because again I even though his rating is like 17-ish, I think he is slightly higher than 1700 in terms of life rating, but I think that he's definitely not 1700 because he plays really well. I watch a lot of his games and he plays really well. So I really think that he's deserved a draw in this game. I just was just able to swindle the win. So and after this game, I concluded that the Catalan is not good to play against the Slav because, as you can see, the problem with the problem with the Catalan is that let's go to this open in this move. After this, you saw right. What happened is that Black has enough control of e4, so I can never play knight c3 and e4. And then now my queen is a little bit misplaced because usually the queen stays on d3 or c2, but this bishop controls the diagonal, which is very unfortunate. So yeah, I think I will probably go back to look at all my Queen's Gambit decline line or all the main line Slav and see what happens. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.